A few summers ago, I stumbled upon a yard sale while driving through a quiet neighborhood on the way to meet a friend. The house hosting it was old but well kept, with a few tables set up in the driveway, displaying trinkets, tools, and knickknacks. I wasn't planning to stop, but something about the place caught my attention. Maybe it was the peculiar way the tables were arranged, or the fact that there didn't seem to be anyone else browsing. Whatever it was, curiosity got the better of me, and I pulled over. As I walked up, an older man stepped out from the garage. He was in his late 60s or early 70s, with gray hair and a crooked smile. He greeted me warmly, almost too warmly, as if he'd been waiting specifically for me to show up. "Let me know if anything catches your eye," he said, gesturing to the tables. I scanned the items, picking up an old watch that immediately intrigued me. It was antique, with a worn leather strap and a tarnished silver face. The hands were frozen at 317, but it had a certain charm that made me want to take it home. "How much for this?" I asked, holding up the watch. The man's face lit up. "That old thing? $5. It felt like a steal. I handed him the money and he slipped it into his pocket, then leaned in closer, lowering his voice. "You like unique stuff, huh?" I nodded, unsure where this was going. "Well," he said, glancing around as if to make sure no one else was listening, "if you're into the good stuff, I've got some things inside you might want to see." I hesitated. The way he said good stuff sent a chill down my spine, but my curiosity got the better of me. Against my better judgment, I agreed. "Follow me," he said, gesturing toward the house. We walked through the garage, past shelves cluttered with old tools and paint cans, and entered the house. The interior smelled faintly of mildew and wood polish. The man led me to a door at the end of the hallway, which he opened to reveal a steep staircase leading down into darkness. "Don't worry," he said with a chuckle, noticing my hesitation. "The light's just a little dim down there." I followed him down the creaking stairs, each step amplifying the unease building in my chest. The basement was colder than I expected, and the smell was different, damp and earthy, with an undertone of something metallic. The man flipped on a dim overhead light, which flickered before settling into a weak glow. The basement was cluttered with random junk, old furniture, crates, and piles of boxes. But what caught my eye immediately were two small child-sized caskets sitting in the far corner of the room. They were old and worn, with chipped white paint and tarnished brass handles. "What are those?" I asked, my voice wavering. "Oh, those?" he said nonchalantly, as if they were no more interesting than an old chair. "You'll see." My stomach turned, but before I could say anything else, he walked over to a table and pulled out a large wooden box. "You're going to love this," he said, opening it. Inside was a collection of dirty, dismembered doll limbs, arms, legs, and tiny heads, all stained with grime and stuffed haphazardly into the box. Some of the limbs looked burned or melted, as if they'd been subjected to heat. "What the hell is this?" I asked, my voice cracking. "Vintage doll parts," he said matter-of-factly, picking up a tiny arm and twirling it between his fingers. "Collectors pay good money for these. You can't find quality like this anymore." I took a step back, but he didn't seem to notice. He set the box down and moved to another corner of the room, where he opened a tall cabinet. This time, he pulled out a plastic storage bin and popped the lid off to reveal mannequin limbs. Arms and legs, some intact and others broken, all in various states of decay. The paint on the limbs was peeling, revealing the dull gray material underneath. Some of the limbs had been crudely repaired with tape or glue, making them even more grotesque. "Mannequin parts," he said, grinning like he'd just shown me the crown jewels. "Wait until you see what's in the caskets." That was my breaking point. My chest tightened, and my fight-or-flight instinct kicked in. "I think I've seen enough," I stammered, turning toward the stairs. "Ah, come on," he said, his grin fading. "You don't want to miss the best part." But I was already halfway up the stairs. My hands were shaking as I fumbled for the doorknob at the top. When I finally got it open, I bolted through the house and out the front door, not bothering to look back. I didn't stop running until I was in my car with the doors locked. My heart was pounding and my mind raced with questions. What was in those caskets? Why did he have those things in his basement? And why had I gone down there in the first place? I drove away as fast as I could, not caring about the speed limit. When I finally stopped at a gas station to catch my breath, I looked at the watch I'd bought. It felt heavy in my pocket, like it was mocking me for my stupidity. I never went back to that yard sale or that neighborhood, and I don't think I'll ever buy something at a yard sale again without wondering what kind of person I'm buying it from.